What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't go ahead and scoop up Black Ops 7 for a very specific reason. Again, the gameplay you guys are watching is from the free open beta. I just haven't even bothered. I've been diving into Battlefield 6 heavy, been having a blast. Arc Raiders has dropped, and it's completely innovating on the extraction shooter genre. It's a lot of stuff to play, so, I thought to myself, you know what? I'll hold off on Black Ops 7. I'll see, if Activision really means anything about skill-based matchmaking being reduced within the overall experience, and I'll let the community, be the test dummies for me, and I'll just sit back and see how everything unfolds. And lo and behold, I don't know how true this is. Of course, you guys can go down in the comment section and leave your personal opinions, because, maybe they're just trying to pull something for the algorithm. Maybe they just know skill-based matchmaking gets numbers on Twitter. I don't know what it is, but pretty much every massive creator out there, including the extraordinarily good players, like 2, 3, 4 KD players, are just nonstop talking about how sweaty Black Ops 7 is. And it's starting to make me feel a little bit better that I didn't go ahead and bother with, scooping up this game in the first place. But, ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we go and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget subscribing to the bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, we cover pretty much everything between Call of Duty, Battlefield, Arc Raiders, Gears of War. I even talk a little bit about Skate. There's a lot of games I enjoy discussing, so if you guys are interested, subscribe to that bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I was going through all my messages to see what I, saved to showcase on the video, there's too many. I have literally 20 plus posts of just absolute goated players just, saying the skill-based matchmaking is too crazy in this game, Activision lied, it's not true. But instead of showcasing that, I actually have a post from Modern Warzone that has a little summary of, multiple different players under, his post. And he says, seeing a lot of streamers and content creators say that skill-based matchmaking is cranked, despite Treyarch openly reiterating that the open playlist has classic/limited skill-based matchmaking in Black Ops 7. What do you think is really going on? Did this game possibly just have a higher percentage of sweaty players? And under this post, it just showcases a bunch of, again, really good players. Again, tons of them are 2, 3, 4 plus KD individuals who stomp on the regular. And I'm telling you, if some of these players are saying skill-based matchmaking is ramped up, for example, Havoc, Lord have mercy, that the skill-based matchmaking must be feeling some type of way. And these guys don't just play for 1 or 2 matches, and it just so happens they're versing sweats. A lot of these players are on for hours and hours and hours and hours, which further proves the point that it's not just, a one-time thing. It's probably over the course of a whole session, which means it's not going to be any better for anybody else who's just going to be hopping on for a game or two. If someone plays for 4 hours and it's just constant sweat, the person who's going to hop on for a match is probably going to have to deal with the same exact thing, sadly. But ladies and gentlemen, this right here is exactly why I was completely worried, and I haven't even bothered with Black Ops 7. And it's funny because one of my homies, the brother from another mother, Jay, actually gave me a code for Game Pass. He had a spare one. He's hooking me up, and it's been close to a week now, and I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry. I'm going to do it. I promise. I will put through that code, and I will try it out for myself and see if this matchmaking is the real deal or not. But again, there's so many other things out right now, and I just keep thinking to myself, it's another COD game. It's just simply another COD game, and it worries me because from what I can tell online, everybody is saying that the matchmaking is ramped up. None of my friends even purchased it. I had one person who did purchase it because he has Game Pass. So I can't say he purchased it. Technically, he did purchase it because he has Game Pass. So, they're still making money either way. But that individual who purchased it said, no, it's too sweaty. I don't feel like doing this year. It's like the whole marketing was it was going to be reduced skill-based matchmaking. Yet, it doesn't feel that way. Now, of course, it could be because a lot of the sweats are playing the game and it's not many casuals who purchase the product. I don't know. I don't think that's the truth, to be honest with you. I think plenty of casuals purchased the product. But that's one thing. I think we all saw that, the sales are down tremendously for the physical copies, which I will say isn't the end of the world. I think a lot of people are pushing more towards owning things digitally. I think that's just the way the trend is going here. So physical copy is going to slowly get worse and worse and worse for pretty much all games out there. But man, I think it was 60% compared to BO6. Lord have mercy. Seriously, that alone makes me think that maybe there are just more sweats playing the game than actual casuals. But then you go and see people, 2-box or do any of these other methods, and you'll see the casuals there. There's casuals. There's people who are playing the game that, aren't ultimate sweat lords. Yet and still, all these top-tier players are running into nonstop sweat. It's getting so bad that people are saying don't even bother dropping ranked. Just keep pubs, because pubs is literally ranked. I don't know what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen, but something seems a little fishy. As I stated, I'll test it out for myself at some point in time. When I actually, want to try the Game Pass code and, get on, I'll give it a go. But simply seeing players who are like 10 times better than me say that it's horrifying makes me think it's no point in me even why would I give it a shot? If someone who is like tremendously better than me is saying that it's a nightmare, what's the point? What's the value in my words at that point? They've already stated exactly what I would probably be stating. I don't know. Maybe not. Like I said, it could be. I wouldn't necessarily consider this rage bait, but skill-based matchmaking, it's a hot term, and a lot of people like to talk about skill-based matchmaking because it's hot. You post something about it on Twitter and it's already trending. So it might be because of that. But I genuinely think that people are having a rough time right now. And you know what I want to link it to? The one thing that made me not purchase this game. If you guys remember, I said I was going to buy this game if they reduce the skill-based matchmaking and make it into one playlist and one playlist only, having no other alternatives. And lo and behold, at the very last second, 2 days before launch, they went ahead and announced that they're going to have a standard playlist, a standard mosh pit, that will only have one mode for now, of course. We have no clue what's going to be introduced later. That will have matchmaking that heavily prioritizes skill, basically what we've been dealing with ever since Modern Warfare 2019. That was the main thing that made me say, okay, this is fishy now, because it defeats the whole purpose of reducing skill-based matchmaking. If you're just going to give players an alternative, the players who are going to get whooped up and don't want to learn how to play the game, if you're just going to give them an alternative to go and play in their 1 KD lobbies of perfect skill, perfect ranked matches, then what's the purpose of, reducing skill-based matchmaking? It doesn't do anything. Back in the day, the reduced matchmaking, how it should be, like in COD 4, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, believe it or not, skill-based matchmaking was in those games. It's funny because skill-based matchmaking, the term, is so negative now. It was never negative, but ever since Modern Warfare 2019, since Call of Duty ramped it up to a tremendous amount, people hear skill-based matchmaking and they think, oh my god, that's like the devil. It's not. It was back in the day as well, but again, it was across all the game modes. There was no separate playlist that you go into or separate mosh pit that has highly skilled match. No. You either play ranked or you'll play pub matches, and you'll get whooped in pub matches, but you'll also have good times in pub matches, and it'll be a nice mix. But the only reason you can get that nice mix is because there were no other alternatives. If a casual really wanted to get super duper 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 casual, like just completely brainless, they don't want to think, they don't want to do nothing, they just want to kick back, there were party modes in some of the later Call of Duty games that you can hop into and play that instead. But if you wanted to play COD, if you wanted to go for streaks and shoot people, you were going into one playlist and one playlist only, no matter what your skill level. And then, of course, as I stated, there was an alternative, ranked, where sweatier players can go if they want to enjoy that instead, or even casuals. If they want to, stay bronze, they can stay bronze. You don't have to rank up in ranked. You could sit in a bracket as long as you want and just chill there if you really don't want to be thrown into the overall mix, but nobody did that. Everybody went to the one playlist and the one playlist only. That's such a crucial aspect. And I don't know. I don't know if it's making a difference when it comes to BO7 having two playlists. I don't know if that's one of the biggest reasons why it feels so sweaty, but it's one of the main factors, as I stated, for me not purchasing nor downloading the game, because I knew that if that was going to be the case, it's irrelevant. The players who are getting whooped will go right back to the matchmaking that was protecting them, and all the better players who know that no skill-based matchmaking is the better alternative are going to stick there, but it's just going to be overall sweaty because, again, the rest of the player base is trying to separate themselves. Safe spaces, man. Safe spaces, safe spaces, safe spaces. Activision trying to parent people, give everybody protection, hold hands. It's been like this for ages now, and it worries me that Black Ops 7 is going down the same exact road, although they're claiming that they are not. And that's another thing. There's a lot of people trying to defend them, saying that, for example, why would they lie about such a thing? Right? That's only negative press for them if it were to come out and that there is skill-based matchmaking within the overall experience, but there's not going to be any proof. Let me ask you this. Do you genuinely think that Activision cares about lying to us about this? Do you genuinely think that it's even going to come out that they lied about this to us? It hasn't genuinely come out that, skill-based matchmaking for Modern Warfare 2019 up to current date was technically, good for their overall statistics, and it's also not come out that it's bad for their overall statistics. It's only speculation, although our speculations are logical, and what a lot of people are finding in the results when they test and they see things is logical, and it makes sense to us. We don't have any hard facts. Activision literally lied to us for how many years? That skill-based matchmaking is good for the overall product, and then now with BO7, it's magically, oh, we hear you. We're going to go ahead and tone it back to, classic style of matchmaking. After we had to fight for years, it took until the game is literally suffering to the max degree and a bunch of competition coming into the scene for them to say, okay. Sorry, we're changing it. We understand what you guys are saying. Yet they lied to our faces that whole time, and they still have yet to acknowledge that they were wrong. That's the thing about it. That's why I say that it wouldn't shock me if they're lying right now. Nobody's going to hold them accountable besides the people online, and that's not enough value for anything seriously negative to happen. Nobody's going to go take Activision to court, and if you do take them to court, I guarantee that they already thought of 50,000 loopholes for this exact scenario that's going on right here that can get them out of it, especially with billions of dollars backing them up. Nobody's going to take them on. Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's going to legally hold them, liable for what's happening. It's just not going to happen. And that's why I believe that they can lie in this scenario and say, oh, we reduced it, when in reality they either didn't, or their current plan is, again, to separate the playlist to still make sure that it's like their, matchmaking they went ahead and put together. All I have to say is Activision has done a number to their reputation. It doesn't even matter what they do at this point. I feel like many people are not going to trust them regardless. They could literally show us all the statistics and proof behind the scenes that, everything that they're saying is true and there's no skill-based matchmaking and they promise everything is going fine. There are people who are so scarred by Activision that nothing's going to make them budge. They have done horrible service to the reputation, and it's going to take years to go ahead and patch this up. But at the end of the day, I don't know. What do you guys think? For everybody who's played Black Ops 7, how's the matchmaking feeling? In the beta, it didn't feel too shabby, but ultimately, I knew deep down that with 2 playlists, it might not be bad now, since it's the hype, it's the phase. Oh, look, no skill-based matchmaking, let's give it a go. But once people get whooped too much, and they see that they have to actually really want to improve at the game to succeed, they're going to say, you know what? I don't mind having that 1 KD, just an even 1 KD lobby for everybody across the board, make it nice and even. It's exactly like ranked. Let's play that instead of this. And they're all going to switch, and it's just going to completely defeat the purpose of having, the classic style of matchmaking. But overall, it sucks because, from what I see, BO7 doesn't look like it's that bad of a game. It seems like it's going to be a lot of content for a lot of the drops for seasons. There's going to be tons of things coming on into the game. I will say personally, from the beta, the gunplay felt way crispier on mouse and keyboard compared to BO6, so that's already a step up in the right direction. The reduced, AA, I thought that was a pretty cool concept. All these things, yet and still, it's just the reputation of Activision just is holding it back so heavily. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, guys are interested, I'll link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.